I asked the question earlier, if you've got some kind of career that's going well, successful media career on TV, radio, and you felt called by God to give it away to some degree and to do something that's a little bit less glamorous, but somehow you felt was important because you felt it was to follow your calling, would you do it? One person who did just that is Dan Widdowson. Now, he may be familiar to some of us on television. He was a long-time host of children's programming, and he's written for popular programmes such as Home and Away, and radio co-hosted a very successful breakfast television programme based in Sydney at Hope 103.2. Welcome, Dan. Good to talk to you again.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, last time we talked, we weren't face-to-face. We were down the tube.
No, I was on the phone.
Now, you're no stranger to a television studio environment, and it's good that you're able to be here. Where did your career start then in this area?
My career in television actually it started by fluke. So, whenever I share the story, I say it has to be a God thing because there's no way I could have done it. I was working at a theme park in Fox Studios when there used to be a theme park in Sydney. And, I got everyone on board this ride called the Titanic, and Fox needed somebody to host their commercial. And so, I auditioned for that and I got to host their commercial, and I was 18, so I was really stoked with that. And then one day in my lunch break at this theme park, the two girls who hosted Disney turned up, Shelley and Mel. And they said, "Oh, we saw your ad on TV and we're looking for a guy to work with. Do you want to work with us?" I said, "Yep, I sure do."
It wasn't difficult to find the answer.
No.
Did you always want to do that? Is it something that was in there that you wanted to do?
I probably didn't know that I wanted to go into entertainment till about year 9. But from year 9 onwards, I always knew that I wanted to entertain people in some way. Partly because I'd experienced some hard life stuff, and friends had experienced some hard life stuff. And I always loved that entertainment could just help you escape for a little while. And even if you're feeling really low, just having a laugh is good for everyone. So if I could be part of that, I'd be pretty happy. And
you were certainly hosting Saturday's Disney children's programmes and presented a home renovation programme.
Yeah. I can't renovate. That's the problem. I can't actually
But you
renovate.
can present while other people do the renovating.
Yeah, or I can pretend. I can hold a hammer and whack a nail.
You shouldn't say pretend.
No, that's right.
You do it all, I'm sure. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, because I know you were very much part of that popular Christian station presentation at Hope 103.2. Yeah. What led you to do what you're doing now? It's almost a calling a little bit away from face-to-face media into doing something different.
Yeah, so a long time back when I met my now wife, I'd kind of grown up in a church family, and I knew the tale of Jesus and who he was. But when I met my my girlfriend at the time, she challenged me to come to church with her and read the Bible. And I said, okay, I'm happy to do that. I'm not sure I totally believe it. I said, but I'll read the Bible cover to cover. And if what Jesus actually did for me is true, then I'll commit my whole life to it. And after a couple of years, I was blown away by the truth of who Jesus was. Mm-hmm. And so, I started going to a Bible college just to get a better understanding of how the Bible was put together and why it's so important. And the church that I go to, they asked me if I'd come on board as the youth pastor. Mm. And that's when I was still doing Disney. So I thought, yeah, that'd be fun. This is what I thought, so I'll do that. And then the more I got involved in that, the more I suppose felt what you could call a calling to pastoral ministry, to minister to people, by means of being a pastor. And the opportunity came up to do that full time. So I had to kind of decide, do I want to still dabble in media and do that?
And what is it that your work now on the central coast of New South Wales, what does it involve?
So now I'm a pastor at a church in Bensville. And so, full time I'm at this Bensville campus, and the church provides all these different ministries to the community. And I get to be part of those ministries. I get to be part of contacting the community and helping the community.
Let me ask this question. Did your time in media give you anything that has added to your ministry now?
Oh, absolutely. I feel that anything that God brings along in life has got to add some. It's got to add somehow. There's got to be something to that. And so I suppose it taught me to communicate far better than I used to. It taught me how to relate to different people, I suppose. It also took me to some different places, so meeting different people from different communities, different demographics, which really, like, every community is kind of made up of, all these different people trying to do life together.
And what's the greatest challenge for a person entering pastoral ministry?
Oh, goodness, the greatest... Well, so there's a lot of challenges. I suppose a big challenge for me is knowing just when to stop and when to rest, because the community never stops and needs never stop. And so if you wanted to, you could be out all the time doing important stuff. But as a dad and as a husband, I need to learn, okay, well, I need to invest in my family now, or just invest in my own health for a little while.
And that's what I think sometimes when you meet people, when single people in ministry without a family, it's a big danger there, isn't it? At least you hope that our wives pull us back and say, hang on a minute, you've got to do this today, and not just do that.
Yeah, and in a way, that's honouring God too, isn't it? To kind of, he made our bodies have warning signs to say that, I'm not coping at the moment. And so to listen to that and allow yourself to have a day's break and recover is honouring what God's given us.
Now you're marrying your skills and talents in a way to communicate the gospel in perhaps a different way. Tell us about that.
Yeah, in a theatrical sense. So, I'm of the belief that all our creative gifts are God-given, and so we've established a theatre company called Salt House Theatre Company, in which we acknowledge our creative talents come from God and we want to use them to honour Him. So we get groups of all ages together. We put on shows like any other theatre company, but we just make sure we don't lose sight of the fact that we're performing for Him, and when we perform for the community and give the community enjoyment, that's for His glory and not because we're these creative beings where we soak up all the praise.
I always kind of struggle when people separate talents and gifts, because our talents, even though they may lie within us and might be there, are still God-given, aren't they?
They're still God-given gifts. Sometimes we've got to unlock them. Sometimes we've got to create the environment where we can unlock those gifts. But, any person with any talent, whether they believe it or not, I believe their gifts and talents have come from God.
Well, we wish you well and hope that project goes well on the Central Coast, and also that you continue to enjoy your pastoral ministry. It's been a delight to talk to you again and to feel very much engaged with the work that you're doing, Dan.
Thank you very much.